Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's weekend roundup time. So Pokémon Legends Arceus, the much anticipated open world-ish departure for the series is out. So let's see how the critics like it. All right, let's look. Yep, I'm doing this thing, not really looking up anything, the results. Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. That's pretty darn good. It got an 86 on Metacritic, with the consensus being it is a much needed shakeup for the series. It did better than Sword and Shield did a few years ago, and it was just a hair behind Sun and Moon in 2016. So, headline, I guess, best reviewed Pokemon game in almost 6 years, I don't know. Games Radar gave it a near perfect score, writing that Pokémon Legends Arceus has truly revolutionized the series for a more modern audience. Comicbook.com was hugely praising as well, gave it a perfect 10 out of 10, saying Pokémon Legends Arceus is easily the strongest Pokémon game made in recent memory and should provide unforgettable memories that rival the first time a player first encountered a favorite Pokémon or conquered their first Pokémon champion fight. As for the story of the game, well, the reviewers were somewhat limited because there is an embargo on what they could say, but here's what we know. You're part of the Galaxy team and you're settlers in a kind of feudal Japan version of the Sinnoh region. Humans, they're mostly pretty scared of Pokemon at this point. There's an ominous rift in the sky that zaps some noble Pokemon with a bolt of lightning. Now they're all flipping out. You gotta settle those Pokemon down and of course help the Galaxy Survey Corps by catching Pokemon. Your Pokédex is a book this time around. It's old school. We used to have books back in the day, and there's more to filling out a page for each Pokemon than just catching them. There's smaller objectives required to complete each page, so lots of quests and lots of side missions you can do. You'll get research points in the Survey Corps from doing missions. That'll open up new areas and new modes of travel. There are also no gyms this time around. There's no badges to collect. Instead, you've got a star ranking system, and the goal is to gain all 10 stars. So you do this by filling your Pokedex. You get points for doing so. As you hit certain point milestones, you get more stars. As you get more stars, you get promotions. That lets more powerful Pokemon pay attention to you. Well, obey you. Also pay attention to you, I guess. And you get new types of Pokeballs to craft. Yeah, you craft in this game too. As for the open world aspect, lots has been written about this. There's been a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild. Video Games Chronicle wrote, at times it does indeed feel like Breath of the Wild as you run around its vast expanses, collecting berries, seeds, and other ingredients and juggling them in your inventory so you can craft items to help in your quest. They also compared it to Monster Hunter as you, quote, continually return to your home village and take on a sizable series of side quests, many of which have you heading out to certain parts of the world to track down a specific target, then return for your reward. Yep, that is very Monster Hunter-ish. Also heard people compare it to Xenoblade Chronicles too. So there you go. It's not fully open world, but it's definitely more open than past Pokemon games have been. There's also crafting. Eurogamer said that together with catching, you'll often slip into a kind of multitasking trance. It isn't that all what we really want, just to slip into some sort of trance, a fugue state while we just pass through life. Maybe it's just me, I'm old. The game's graphics did get some flack, with Dexerto saying that the game is also held back by technical limitations because it's on the Switch, which is old. It was old when it came out, it's really old now. They said that muddy textures and pop-in can sometimes break the immersion. They also said that the game can sometimes feel empty since grass and environmental objects are limited. And I heard that from some people online too, that it felt kind of empty. They had built this big thing, but it was a little bit empty-ish feeling. Dexerto ultimately though gave it a 9 out of 10 and said for years fans have begged Game Freak for deeper storytelling, and Pokémon Legends Arceus absolutely delivers that. Unlike previous titles, the game is packed with side quests, exploration, and an emotionally rich narrative. Polygon also knocked the graphics, calling them dreadful, but said the game is, quote, filled with excellent ideas. They wrote, I'll gladly take an imperfect Pokemon game that takes a chance on something different, even if it's not always successful. Legends Arceus is confident enough in its new direction that its missteps feel more like small annoyances than major issues, like a pebble in my shoe on an otherwise lovely walk. And others praise the new direction, and this is something that fans have been asking for years, that look, we've got the formula, we know, we're tired of new games that just do the same formula, do something a little bit different. They're definitely trying that. Eurogamer said that there's an overpowering sense of novelty to Pokémon Legends Arceus. This is something new, and it's also Pokémon, a decades-old series, in its purest essence, battle, trade, collect. And Video Games Chronicle called it the breath of fresh air the series has needed for so long. It may not have been apparent from the trailers, but this is one of the most entertaining, engaging, and engrossing games in the entire history of the the Pokemon series. So there you go. Pretty good scores. It's taking Pokemon in a different direction. Let me know what you guys think, because it's been out for a day now. I'm sure some of you have played. I'm on the fence. I don't know if it's $60 worthy yet or not, but we'll see. On to the rest of the story. So we have an update on the ongoing labor dispute between Activision Blizzard and some workers at Raven Software. Now, you might remember that some of the staffers at Raven went on strike last year after some members of the QA team were laid off. The strike ended a few days back. Well, last week, the remaining QA testers at Raven formed the first union at a major US gaming company. The union was made up of, it sounds like, the majority of the 34-member QA team at Raven. Now, did Activision Blizzard, which is allegedly trying to clean up his act, did they voluntarily recognize the union? Of course not. They announced that they won't voluntarily recognize it, which means now that the union, which is called the Game Workers Alliance, must petition the National Labor Relations Board to hold a union election. They need 50% plus one of all the votes in their department. So of the 34 people, they need half plus one. But it sounds like Activision Blizzard up to some tricks. In a meeting this Monday, they called 23 of the Raven QA testers into a meeting where they were told they would be split into various departments, including animation, art, audio, design, engineering, and others. So it sounds like maybe a QA department by itself doesn't exist anymore, and they broke it up and sent those employees all over the studio. So little shady. In a statement, the new union said they were disappointed that Activision Blizzard didn't recognize them, saying this was an opportunity for Activision Blizzard to show a real commitment to setting new and improved standards for workers. Instead, Activision Blizzard has chosen to make a rushed restructuring announcement to try and hinder our right to organize. I guess the idea being, if they called for a union vote for the entire studio, it might be harder to do rather than just calling one for the smaller department. The Communication Workers of America, which is working with the new union, said in a statement that the meetings with the QA staffers were, quote, nothing more than a tactic to thwart Raven QA workers who are exercising their right to unionize. Now, of course, Activision Blizzard denies this despite the very suspicious timing of these meetings. In a statement to Polygon, they said they deeply respect the rights of all employees to make their own decisions about whether or not to join a union. They added that we carefully reviewed and considered the CWA initial request last week and tried to find a mutually acceptable solution with the CWA that would have led to an expedited election process. Unfortunately, the parties could not reach an agreement. In another statement from the new union and the CWA, they said they are, quote, proud to file with the NLRB as we enjoy supermajority support for our union and know that together we will gain the formal legal recognition we have earned. Now, speaking of Activision Blizzard, one of the biggest questions in the aftermath of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard was, will Call of Duty stay on PlayStation? Well, so far we have an answer. Yes. So far, Xbox boss Phil Spencer, who has now become the lord and master of all video games, tweeted after the acquisition that he, quote, had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. He went on to say, I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship. And then he went all Darth Vader and was like, I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further. Because he's more like Thanos now with the glove, with the gauntlet and all the jewels in it now. Except he's like missing one, and like either PlayStation or Nintendo has to like jump off a cliff now for him to get that last one. I don't know. I think that metaphor was great. I think this was a huge success. Anyway, Bloomberg reported that at least the next 3 Call of Duty games will be on the PlayStation, saying that Activision had already committed to making the next few Call of Duty games available there. That includes this year's Call of Duty, which is expected to be a new Modern Warfare game. Bloomberg quoted anonymous sources with knowledge of the deal who said that for at least the next 2 years, Microsoft is committed to releasing Call of Duty on PlayStation. After that, they said it gets hazier, and they said there's been talk of spacing out COD games in the future instead of putting them out every year. Speaking of Activision Blizzard again, Blizzard has announced they are working on a new survival game in a brand new universe. It'll be for PC and console, and in a post on the company's website, Blizzard said this, Blizzard is embarking on our next quest. We are going on a journey to a whole new universe, a sexually harassment-free universe. if you will. Home to a brand new survival game for PC and console, a place full of heroes we have yet to meet, stories yet to be told, and adventures yet to be lived. A vast realm of possibility waiting to be explored. They also included some artwork of the unannounced survival game, one of which had kind of a rangery type character. They had an axe in their hand, they were tracking some glowing footprints, pretty standard fantasy stuff, but the other art, much more modern. It had two teens with kind of a city in the background, a modern city, not like a thatched roof city like skyscrapers and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And there was, Evan's probably showing you a picture right now. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's also a bicycle, and they were looking through a clearing in the woods at some sort of castle. Blizzard's currently recruiting staffers for the new project in various departments, including artists, designers, and engineers. They wrote, "For 30 years, Blizzard's been creating universes for millions of players around the globe. This requires a diverse team of developers willing to lend their voices to listen and to be heard." One of the most anticipated games of 2022 almost here. Yes, I'm talking, of course, about Elden Ring, and we got some good news. It's gone gold, which means there's a version completed that's ready to ship. Now, you might remember Elden Ring was supposed to be out this month, but it got delayed slightly to February. But From Software's Yasuhiro Kateya said at the Taipei Game Show that it's for sure coming next month. Specifically, he said, "Please be assured the title will be ready for sale on February 25th. He also added, in response to a question about whether development is going smoothly, he said the master version has already been submitted. Right now, the team is working on a day one patch to make sure everything in the game is just so. So that's awesome. All right, time for a 5-second review. Check it out. I just found this in my dresser. Still got it. Let's see if it works. Apparently you need to charge this more than once every 20 years. Oh well. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, Life is Strange Remastered Edition. Experience the BAFTA award-winning story of Life is Strange, now beautifully remastered with enhanced visuals and vastly improved animation using mocap technology. Return to Arcadia Bay and experience 2 award-winning Life is Strange games like never before. Remastered visuals and animation breathe new life into the great cast of characters and gripping stories. The Life is Strange Remastered Collection includes Life is Strange Remastered and Life is Strange Before the Storm Remastered. Comes to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia February 1st. Cheftastic Buffet Blast is a new exciting top-down arcade shooter. Take back the Isle of Verdura from swarms of mutant vegetables and climb your way to the top of the leaderboard. Comes to PC February 4th. And last but not least, Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Over 20 years ago in Haran, we fought the virus and lost. Now we're losing again. The city, one of the last large human settlements, is torn by conflict. Civilization has fallen back into the Dark Ages, and yet we still have hope. You are a wanderer with the power to change the fate of the city, but your exceptional abilities come at a price. Haunted by memories you cannot decipher, you set out to learn the truth and find yourself in a combat zone. Hone your skills to defeat your enemies and make allies. You'll need both fists and wits, but wherever your actions take you, there's one thing you can never forget: stay human. Comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One February 4th. That's all the news I got for you this week, guys. Hope you're having a great weekend. We'll see you soon.